We're with Nate Olsen as part of our State of the Union Mankato. You're number one to go today. Let's just get a little bit to know about who you are. In my research of you way back when we were kind of getting started in this, and you made it in 2016, you were an assistant on that team, correct?
Yep.
My research says you're a Scarlet. You
Through and
bleed
through.
red, literally.
2011 grad, yeah.
2011, you're a young punk too.
So 13 years coaching. Next year will be 14th with the program and 6th as a head coach.
Would you have? You played multiple sports too?
Yep. Football
for sure. I think it's required to play football.
It's pretty
Mankato
hard.
West, isn't it?
So it's funny. The head coach at the time, Mark Ash, who's at Minnetonka now. You know, he kind of met with me, and I didn't really want to get hurt for hockey. Hockey was always my jam. I was kind of leaning on maybe not playing, and it's like, you know, I was a very average football player.
It's okay.
So culture was great. We had won a lot of games. It was a great program to be a part of, and he's like, you know, you'd be leader on special teams, you'd be the backup linebacker, whatever, and hemmed and hawed, talked to my dad about it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to play with my buddies, whatever. And I remember he told me, you can never take the football out of a man. That's what he told me. So,
can you take the hockey out of a man?
Never.
I don't think you can.
It's funny. I got a little guy at home, and as soon as he got walking, I got the knee hockey stick in his hand, and now he wakes up in his crib and he's like, hockey? Like, it's all about it. So
yeah, it's addicting, that's for sure. All right, so who was the coach? Like, mine was Whiz Wide. Everyone knows who Whiz Wide is. We don't have Whiz Wide word. Who is the coach who kind of grabbed you and said, maybe not literally or figuratively, but said, this is something you should do? And maybe he didn't say it in words like that, but who was the coach you remember as a kid or in high school?
So it's interesting. I've been fortunate to be surrounded and coached by a ton of great people, right? Like Jason Anderson, who's an assistant of mine, was my Pee Wee A coach, my Bantam A coach, coached me in high school. And then I coached with him as an assistant, and now he's staying on as one of my assistants. So he's been literally coaching hockey since he was 18 years old. I think he's just finished year 19 with our program. So it's just kind of a funny deal. But for me, it was Curtis Stoll as our head coach. We require our guys still to this day to make sure we're out with the youth and get out there and try and find time. It's become harder with our mites used to be right after our practice. So we'd send guys out with mites, and now they're up at the 3-on-3 rink. And so back when
Which is
I played,
unreal, by the way, no
correct.
pun intended.
Yeah, right.
What a great asset for your
It's been
city,
huge.
right?
It's helped everyone get on the ice more.
Yep.
But Curtis would have us come out, and I would get out with the first group, and then I'd be out with the second group, then I'd be out with the third group, and I'm 16
Before
at the
kids,
time.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in high school. As a player. And it took me a few years looking back, but he made a comment like, once you get Nate on the ice, you can never get him off. And so really it was getting involved as a high school student and player and giving back to the youth that then actually really started creating that passion. And my freshman year of college, I started coaching squirts, coached the squirt B team. I was head coach, had 2 great parent assistants that were awesome. Then second year I coached squirt Bs and the squirt As. And then the third year, I tried helping with squirt A's while helping with high school, and it pretty quickly became a time-consuming thing where high school is where I was at. So that's literally, I was 21 the first year that I started coaching.
Stopped.
Never stopped. I went from playing to coaching, and I mean, since I was 3 years old, I've been involved in hockey in some form or fashion.
And when you're not coaching at the high school level in the off-season, you're involved with Minnesota hockey and the HP program. Couple sentences on that. What does that involve?
So I probably started that 8 or 9 years ago. You know, I think it's important that there's a voice for Southern Minnesota there. It's easy to, when the bubble kind of is there, to pick the kid that's always been seen by everybody.
The guy from Cretan, St. Thomas,
whatever,
or Rosemont, right? Yeah.
And so I hopefully help give a perspective. Now, we don't do favors. Like, you have to earn your way onto those rosters.
Yeah.
And so
a lot of good choices, though.
100%. But, you know, for me, it's a fun way to learn, get connected to other coaches, and then see different kids. You know, they're kids we play. So, like, if you look at our schedule, not just Section 3A, but it's 3AA, we played 4 teams from 3AA this year.
Right.
And you're coaching against all these kids that you've coached for this spring, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun that way, and getting connected to coaches. I'm our Section 3 rep for the Coaches Association, so I know all those coaches too. So it just naturally has been a good fit for me and a fun experience to help identify the top kids in Minnesota and get them to the USA Hockey Camp.
That's a good route too. All right, let's talk a little bit about your team this past season. Just weeks ago, you were in the state tournament. You got to start the 2 section games. We don't have to go over everything. But
I think my heart rate's finally down to 60 a minute.
How fun is that to beat East on the Saturday, then go beat Laverne later on that week? It's a special time for you guys. You hadn't been there for 10 seasons.
Yeah, this group really was just starting to get the memory going and remember, the last group. Like,
yes.
So for not just our guys, but the whole youth association, the whole community, like, it was a big deal to remember, like, we can get there and we can compete there and we can win there. And so, East played an excellent hockey game. They made us work so hard, and I was very impressed with their effort and the type of game they played against us, because we had some success against them in the regular season.
Yeah, for sure.
But they made it, it was down to the wire, and they pushed us to the brink, and they played awesome. And so that, I think, really helped us when we got into the final against Laverne. Now, we lost in double overtime a year ago in the same spot. And our kids had been battle tested through not just that East game, but some other, games we played: Farmington, Bloomington, Jefferson. We played up against
Jefferson.
Ty
Jefferson.
Yep. So, like, that's a big thing for me, right? Is I'm trying to, as we earn the respect of the top Class A programs and the ability to schedule those teams, to push our guys into those tight environments, fast-paced hockey, so that we're developing and growing, not just on the ice, but in that mental fortitude it takes to come through when you go to 3 overtimes. The guys they just battled. It was simple hockey. It was battle, and I felt so happy for those guys to finally get over that hump. It was a year, it's longer than that really, but a full year of focus and work on knowing we lost where we wanted to go, and we had a whole year to prepare and be ready for that day. It was literally 365 days to the day that we played Laverne and then won that game.
Whose helmet got stuck on the rafters?
Kipton Keach. And then what's funny is...
we could sit there all day and throw the helmet up and couldn't get up there.
No,
right?
and it sat perfectly, right?
Perfect.
And so what was funny about it is, before Gus Davis had given us a softball and a football to start throwing and knock it down, he tried throwing his glove up there, and then that got stuck too. So the glove couldn't get down.
It's like throwing it up in the tree to get the ball down and everything else.
100%.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting the helmet down that night. The next morning, Gus Davis had to bring a lift out and get the glove. He could not get the glove down. But just kind of adds to the whole...
The lore.
Like, at the end of the day, we talk a lot about, like, the bus rides, the teammates. That's what you remember more than the games you played.
Yeah.
And they'll never forget that glove being stuck up there.
That's so good. That's so good. All right. We did Friday Night Ice together 3-4 years ago. I was down here. Well, by the way, what was the kid's name from Mankato West? He was probably a junior at the time that I interviewed. He was in the poster. Do you remember that kid?
Zach Benson.
What a great kid.
He's finishing up with the Alexandria Blizzard right now. Last year.
One of my favorite kids I've met. What a great personality. And his buddy, one of his best friends, was an East kid. Yep. We did some pictures with them. That was great. But the reason I'm bringing that up is that's not the last time I was here, but it's the last time I've been here since the renovation.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, remember the wood paneling down below? It's like, it's almost like a brand new rink, and then you throw in what Chris Lacomb's doing over at the Unreal facility. It's almost night and day what is offering to the kids today of Mankato versus what 3 years ago. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's been a long-term community project that finally came to fruition, right? And so it was a 2-year phased project where they redid the concessions, added a new shooting room for the kids to use. Mankato Area Hockey Association did a really good job owning that process of the shooting room, because they had to put the funds up so that they could own the usership. So like any youth kid, any high school kid, it's yours to use unless there's somebody scheduled in there. So kid wants to come up right now and shoot pucks, he's open to do that, right? You're well aware throughout the state some of the best programs have access, right? And so by adding that Unreal rink like you referenced with the 3-on-3 sheet, all of our mites are up there now. That takes a huge lift off of the ice time constraints here, which gives more hours to the rest of our youth teams. And we're putting more teams on the ice every year, right? Like, our association's growing. And so ice time squeeze is real. It's hard. Northfield, it took them 50 years to get their rink done, right? Like, so to be able to have, a huge upgrade here, an additional sheet of ice with the Unreal rink has been super beneficial. It just gives the kids more access and opportunity to be on the ice.
And there's been a lot of success. You had 3 teams in the youth state tournaments. How cool is it to see all the Southern Minnesota teams playing in the semifinals today against Metro teams and against some Northern powers?
Yeah, it's a big
deal. For you
deal.
guys, a big proponent of it, I'm sure it was a great morning for you waking up and looking, Northfield, Mankato, all these teams are in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to watch our Bantams. They just started a little bit ago, right? And but I think it's a huge testament to the great people that spend all their hours giving back to our youth. And it's not just dads, like, it's people that are invested in the youth
all the moms
program.
that are running the
100%.
the tournament here today.
I mean, you know, it was probably, so what this Bantam group was kind of the first that went through our squirt development model that shifted, where similarly to like East Grand Forks, where we didn't split teams right off of our placements days, we kind of had an idea and did the placements and then split up different groups into 3-on-3 teams that did focus on skill development through the end of November. They don't get their actual Squirt A or Squirt B team until December now, right?
Right.
So we're forfeiting some games there, but we're really focused on the development. So if this Bantam group's the first ones that are through it, you got the Bantam A's,
results, right?
the Bantam B1s in the state tournament. The second Bantam B1 team was at the region.
Yes.
The Pee Wee A's lost a game to go to the state tournament, had an excellent year. The Pee Wee B1s are in the state tournament. I mean, start looking down the pipe, like clearly the results are there, and really the results are development. They're not so much the winning, but the winning comes when you're developing the right way.
And Little Birdie told me that the Pee Wee and Bantam teams might be switching to AA next year.
Yeah, I think the expectation is that the top groups will go to AA, the B1s will go to A in District 9. And so we'll elevate everybody's development through that.
Not as many trophies.
That's a hard battle with parents sometimes. But the focus is development. Like, you'll talk to Adam.
You might have a victory in the state tournament.
Correct. You'll talk to Adam later. Our goal is that East and West play in the section final every year, and whoever wins
next year, though.
Yeah,
it's very
whoever
legit.
wins should go up to St. Paul and compete and win games. Like that's where we want this to go. I talked about it with Peter and the group with the media at the state tournament. Like, I don't care that we're from Southern Minnesota. I don't care that it's been 10 years. Like, our goal is to come up here and win a state championship. And you can call me crazy all you want, but that's our focus. There's a ton of great people that spend a ton of time focused on our youth and their development to try and help achieve that. And the continued education around this is for development. Your Squirt, Pee Wee, and Bantam years, if you win, great. The key is developing. Are they the best prepared to have success as 10th, 11th, and 12th graders at Mankato West and Mankato East?
Well, you've given me quite the education already. Thanks for your time today, Nate.
Yeah.
Nate Olsen, head coach at Mankato West High School.